Alright, so Split Scourge, this is a bonus clip. I kind of want to show it as a whole bonus game, to be honest. But it's not a good game. It's just a game where we snowball and steam our way to victory. However, I kind of realized I haven't shown you any good examples just yet on this series of the cleave potential of this, just like the theoretical cleave potential. So I want to show you this Q, which is a funny one because it has a scrapper using lots of gyros on it. Which means we get a lot of damage. We actually get 600,000 damage on a 9-minute game. 9-minute games are very short snowbally games, and we hit 600k. You're going to see 100k opening mid here from me, which is done in a very, very short space of time. Already we're hitting really hard, the Scourge, so brilliant target. You'll see I'm just pacing out my dodges at just the right time to get as many laser beams as possible. And we've cleaved the hell through a lot of barrier and stuff there. The guy goes down. A res begins. And so here's the dream. What I really should do here is blink to stand here. That would be kind of absurd, to be honest, because we'd hit double through the firebrand as well. But this is the dream. We get to create pentagrams and stuff, guys. Oh. Because as you watch, he'll try and res through this. We can use the Greatsword 4 plus the Shatter. As soon as our guys are re-established, which you can see there, we go for another Split Surge. And, yeah, it's a good demonstration of the pressure. I want to show you something else as well here, which is the 25 might. You actually very rarely hit 25 might on this build. You do in situations like this where the cleave is heavy. And so when you get to the 25, it means that if I can get a Greatsword 4 out during this now, those Berserkers would devastate. But realistically, if you were to look at like a boon up type thing from like a arc or something, I don't know, can you actually do that in PvP? What you would see is I actually don't have that much might. I actually think that the thing that would support this build amazingly, a duo I would love to try, is a support Tempest. And I'm talking about one on Warhorn, not on Staff. And the reason I think it would be amazing is Tempests get this thing where they spam out tons of Vigor, and every time they give Vigor, they give a flat 10 endurance, okay, which is a fifth of a dodge every single time you give out Vigor, right? So the Vigor spam and the dodge spam is obscene for a build like a Mirage, okay? Can you imagine if I can just Split Surge again and again and again just because I'm dodging that much more? So a Tempest kind of bumps the damage up massively there. But also, Tempest, especially with some of the new stuff, if you think about the heat sink on the Warhorn, Tempest can very, very comfortably give 25 might and fury for long durations. This 25 might here you're seeing is the dream, but Tempest can just have like loads up preemptively, and you can get like... I mean, this is a crazy high-pressure build, and it doesn't rely on might to do it, is what I'm saying, in most scenarios. So imagine if you can just precast a ton of might on it already. And it's also flighty enough and evadey enough that the might isn't going to get instantly flipped. It really won't. So I don't know. I think that would be such an awesome little duo to try out. Another hilarious, even less meta idea would be a warrior, because to the limit just straight up gives 100. It gives you 2 full dodges on that hill, and they get like the new ammo-based 4 Great Justice, which is 12 might per pop and fury. That one doesn't actually have to be a support build. It could be any build, but just using those utilities. Anyway, here we've got the dream where we just do loads of pressure. We've now got 2 people dead. That's our second kill here. We take the Scepter 3, and I think we cancel cast our own Scepter 3 there, which is really unfortunate. And again, if we stood here, we could have got the triple. Obviously, we've got allies with us now. We've got 1 ally. Oh, no. Do we have 2? I think we do have a second person as well. So, yeah, and then the Scrapper's here, and he's going to rotate off. This is just the bonus. I guess I'll let you watch us... just cleave the Scrapper down here as well. As he flees, we can just jaunt forwards. And remember, when we jaunt to gap close... So there, when I press B, that was look at my damage. When we jaunt to gap close, we put clones closer, which will also split Spurge a bit quicker. And, yeah, you might think, oh, he's going to resustain now because these are really sturdy builds. Not really. He won't survive for very long. He comes out of S, straight into Scepter 3. And he's down. And yeah, so then we just end up snowballing our way to victory, to be honest, and there's nothing really interesting about the rest of the bonus clip. However, I will show you here at the end of the game, yeah, we got the 600k in a very, very, very short queue, 18-0. All right, on to the proper game now, where there's some slightly more intense competition. So we're over on Coliseum. And so I won't spoil how this goes, but I will say that, again, in keeping with the idea of doing lots of damage, we are going to pull 40% of the total damage output of this team. That is on a queue without a support. So, I mean, that's a very, very high value. I've had higher, but those have been like weird snowbally games where everyone like goes AFK, stand around the base, and it's just that I'm being an aggressive asshole. So for a real game, I mean, getting 40% is kind of nuts. So I look over to see who's at fight. It's a thief. Now, I could take that, but I have to be honest. The reason I don't even try, okay, is because as I mean, this is hilarious, I think. As I'm walking over, the plays, if you look, he waves. That's a guy waving, isn't it? Isn't he waving? So I'm like, oh, he's ready for a 1v1. I'm not doing that. And I realize it's a silly idea anyway. Let's just stay at mid and see how we go. So we get onto the Scourge. So you'll see I get a clone up. I wait very carefully for the generation of our other stuff. Then we go for our dodge. We rip through all of his barrier there. We pull away. We get a reasonable port there on the illusory ambush. I really hope you guys saw that first video I did, because otherwise watching the play-by-plays of this build is going to be really weird. He goes really aggressive, but I stay aggressive too, and we just kill him. I distort his fear. I get deflecting shotted by the DH, so I got to pull away. But my team's managed to score a kill as well, which is excellent. So I cleave that. I stay at mid here because I really want to hit the DH. What I really wanted to do there was retarget before the body and then hit the illusory ambush. So there is something you can do on this build, which is have all your stuff up, killing a body, and then after it's fully defeated, you do get about a second to press this, and your stuff won't despawn, even though they had no target for a brief moment. And that's kind of what I was trying to do there, but I wasn't in position for it. So anyway, he's in renewed focus and already outnumbered, so I don't need to be there and pressure that. I could go to neutralize, or I can take another free kill, because that's really what this Scourge is, a free kill right now. This is no offense to the Scourge themselves, it's just, you know, the matchup and the open field. So the illusory ambush there swings me right around. He thinks I'm the clone where I was stood, so that's kind of something kind of nice as well. Bit of a decoy thing, but because this summons my third clone, I leave with the clone standing there, yeah? So he's forced to detarget, and he sees a clone where I previously was. So I'm now outnumbered, obviously, but the idea is I can move forward and blink up that ledge, and I'll be fine. They could aggress me with Sandswell, but I don't have to worry about that too much. So I do that, and the additional player that was on me realizes he doesn't have a good chance. He sees the Reaper here, so he moves away. And I can just stand on the ledge, and the Scourge is probably not having a very fun time right now because I'm allowed to just free cast on him here. We jaunt forward for a bit more generation. Scepter 3 on him around the corner. The Reaper comes back, so I distort. Now, that was actually a really scary distort because as the Reaper came in, if he hit the clones, he could have reduced my distort, and this happens a lot, down to just a tiny little pathetic moment, meaning my timing there would have been off, and I was very vulnerable. Luckily, he didn't get the accidental cleave on the clones. I'm using the airship finisher. I forgot finishers existed the whole way through this season. The whole way through Return, I forgot about finishers. I need to get some Black Line keys and go for the automatic unlock on the World Tournament finishers. That would be so cool. And I'm totally undeserving of them as a mediocre intermediate player. But yeah, okay, so anyway, he has just spammed his F3, and I'm pretty sure he wants to use his F1 as well at the same time. So I'm fine with this. Here he true-shotted the wall as well. I'm just going to dip. Well, the idea is to get some some clones, and then dip out. Also, I know he's got traps, so when we summon clones, we proc his traps. So he got basically no value out of his heal there. There, he landed it, and I got really annoyed with that, because I don't think he deserves to have landed that. I think if I was on EU, he wouldn't have landed that. So anyway, we dodge. We see, obviously, we've got assistance for him coming in. So I pull away. And now my ranger's coming in and wants to far point, which is fine and fair. But I've already kind of opened on this, so I think I can finish this off with him. Together, we have so much ranged pressure here. We stick on Greatsword. He's pushed into renewed focus. We've been playing very, very low intensity here. It splits into 2 1v1s, and because I have the opportunity, I swap to my guy's target, right? You should always try to do that. Swap to their target. There we use the Scepter 3 and gap close with Illusory Ambush, because otherwise we weren't going to land it. And now that he's zoning us a little bit more, my guy swapped again, so I swap again. I'm just trying to hit whoever he tries to hit, right? Eventually one of them will go down. So this one does here. He's taking Stealth Stomp, but it's a guard, and he's going to get into... I mean, come on, man. So I just keep pressuring. Here I'm trying to like cleave through them both, but I don't have the time. I can keep up with him. Here, you'll notice I'm not dodging or doing much of anything, really. We're just autoing with the Scepter, waiting for our stuff to come back. And we want to create that bit of a gap in case he shrouds and charges at me. We're going to cleanse here after we've dealt with that. He goes into Shroud for defense and gets Scourge support, so I've got to be really careful. Obviously, he's looking like a meaty kill. We port up around the sides. The Thief's on me, so I'm -2 right now. We illusory ambush away in the Stomp, and then... we're going to port back in. And I'm going for gold, guys. I know that he's stealthed, right? So the Thief ran in and stealthed the body with a blinding power. I'm going for gold! Oh, which is silly, because the only way I will get gold here is if I allow the downstate body to cleave me, which also makes me vulnerable to CC. So the hope is that as soon as this drops, which will be about... like now, all right, that he reveals himself as... I mean, it was a silly idea, and I die, obviously. It would have been great, guys. Oh, I mean, the other thing is, obviously, what would I have done after I got that stomp? The answer is nothing. The truth is, what I should have done is not ported back in. I could have ported up here and just walked off, and we would have had really comfortable sights. Now, the Ranger is kind of really frustrating here, because he just walked off and got himself immediately neutralized, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, so we have to wait on the respawn. Look, this is why, on Game of the Day, I can't show you queues where I die much, because these are just boring moments where we have to sit here. But yeah, so we watch what's going on. It's despite, I feel like I've been rampaging throughout the map so far, but despite that fact, it's a very close game right now, as you can see. So we've got to be cautious. My guy's low, that's why I choose to come to close here. I can't actually res that. I'm not going to proc the marks or anything, but we might be able to rally him by killing the Scourge. So I'm keeping as much range as possible so he doesn't poke me with the marks or do that. I pull away. I get hit really hard by that. That was just the last little tick of the Death's Charge. That was all that was. One packet of Death's Charge right at the end, and he really chunked me with it. But it's fair because I can create the gaps. The guy rampages in Vengeance, and I realize we have to kill this now because if we don't, it will rally when the Vengeance ends. Now, because he's in Rampage, there was little chance they could DPS through it. But if you look at the timing there, let's replay that ever so slightly. Watch this. I take Stomp, which, despite the fact if I Shatter, you might think, oh, triple Mind Rack. But they're going to be quite far away. And then another 2 of these, I actually wouldn't have had time. I had to take this Stomp, and I can Distort Stomp it, right? But if you watch the timing, I mean, the reason his health is on nothing right now, I'm pretty sure is because he's actually in the death animation right now. It's very close. No, he manages to get a full counter beginning right as he dies. So, yeah, it's very, very, very close. Now I realize that my enemy's very low and he's just popped damage reversal. So I'm just going to leave because I'm pretty confident that my Necro can get the kill. The Warrior's actually chasing me here. So we could still hit him if we wanted. But I choose instead to go for Sword. So I kind of forgot that I can go for Sword on builds with ports as much. Like, I really haven't done it for a long time. I'd like to point out that leaving my Necro there, who's against the Warrior and a Thief, was kind of bad. He has to survive until the respawning Warrior, our Warrior, can get back in. And he wasn't necessarily capable of doing that. I mean, he could be if he was a good player and he walks towards spawn. But you actually notice the Necro's getting hit kind of hard over there. Maybe I should have stayed. We got Sword, though. But this build, you can imagine how monstrous this is with a sword. So, we're going to go back to mid. We're going to neutralize it since nobody's defending. We're going to use whatever open fields we can. So, here's a Scourge. So, we were trying to hold to the last second to nuke there, and it's kind of a bad play. I could have still neuted that. Sorry about the word nuke, by the way. People don't like that. Decapped. I'll try and get used to saying decapped. I could have decapped that, but I bailed a little bit early. Also, it's a good Scourge. He does a lot of damage to me. He gets a lot of condis on, and he forces me away, which is, I am a force to be reckoned with here against these builds. But the way that it's worked out is I actually can't really pressure them just because I'm getting hazed so hard and so fast. And a big part of that is because I didn't fully decap. If I had fully decapped, they wouldn't both be at liberty to push me like this, right? So the game here is to retarget and try and go through to the other side, but I kind of mess it up. We take the blink away. Here's a perfect example, by the way, of the mantra cleansing. Even non-condi builds, it's really, really useful. Like there, I get rid of chill, and then I pull away, and then I get rid of, what is that, like 13 vuln. We have to come onto the crates here. We're hugging the wall very closely, so his autos can't do anything. And now we're going to jaunt up so that we have successfully bailed away from him. And now we're looking for the Scourge, who's over on the right. And we'll deal with that guy as soon as we get decap. Refresh our mantra. The Reaper's still following us. And he's probably got a lot of confidence because, I mean, he's been hunting me the whole time. But we do still have the sword. And we'll be able to utilize it in a second. So here we're pulling away because we just got to find an opportunity, really. This thief is very close, and my friend kind of needs pills. He messes up a port there, and I don't really know how or what exactly happened there. But we can chase the thief down and get the kill. Actually, guys, I thought you were going to watch a game here where I, like, really annihilate some Scourges with the sword on Coliseum, but you're not. I don't think that this is the same game. But this build is really fun for that, basically. So here, this guy Lich forms me. This is the Reaper. He's still following. So we just kite away. Lich form does very, very heavy ranged auto attacks. So we just pull away. I actually could have maybe evaded and tried to reflect some of those into his face. Could have been really funny. I think we'll see another play with that later. The other thing with Lich form, by the way, is we can actually rip the stab with our Greatsword 3 and leave them ultra vulnerable. So there's a lot of fun things you can do here. So the range is doing good, but he's minus at the moment. So I can support this since they're all going so gung-ho. And we should have the rest of the map as long as my friends actually start rotating. We do some pressure. Obviously, if I pull back here, they're going to have to split focus to come at us. And then whoever we get on their own, we can pick off. Druid pulls back over there. It's only a matter of time before this guy dies. Now, he's pinging me, telling me to leave, but I disagree. And even on the post-commentary, I disagree with this. I think it's a surefire kill. And I think splitting up these two DPS characters of theirs wins the game in general. So he takes some longbow pressure. And now I move on. We can rot that body for a really long time as well. Thief is coming in. Now, here I can probably leave, and I think I will. I think I just throw some stuff, and then I just leave. The thief comes on me here. I walk into a really old mark. What happens there? He gets stunned. We use the push just because that does a packet of damage and it might kill the thief at the same time. Thief was actually behind me and I missed the kill there. He manages to steal to my ally as well, but then goes straight into this Scourge and dies. So yeah, you got that. Back towards mids. Being a bit lackadaisical, perhaps, as I rotate here. We got two big gap closers here. Keep on this guy. Pull away. Lots of evades there. That was really nice for my clones. Watch him behind the pillar. This guy actually feels really tanky, to be honest, in this engagement here. Maybe his team got shield. No, his team didn't get shield. In any case, we move on to the scepter, so that's for the kill there at that point. Pulling away again, just so that he can't really get to us. And you can see that. Well, you remember I described this as feeling a bit like Deadeye. It feels a bit like that, right? Here I could have blinked up and gone the kill. And I know that, but I wanted to save blink for something else. But he moved really quick, so then I did in the end. We still own mid. The DH has tethered me, so I jaunt over here to break the tether. And now I go to support my ranger, but I'm too late, unfortunately. He's been killed in a 1v1 with this warrior. So the warrior bulls rushes me. I take the port onto the Scourge to move forward. Stealth, and then they think I'm going to go to the node, so I run back through them. Use the mantra to cleanse the cripple, and I create a nice big gap there. We blink over. It's still a struggle of the game. We're still, you know, blow for blow. I mean, we died once out of a really, really silly play. But largely, I've been pairing them off. I've been pulling my weight, I think. I've not been just spamming deaths all over the place. So there we have to distort because we're in a shade. I give someone full Axe 2 value there, and I hate doing that. I hate giving people Axe 2 value because I just know it becomes so much shroud that you then have to break through later. People don't realize that that's basically a massive heal. Looking back, we give some support to our Reaper here. The DH is always a good target. And we get some beautiful AoE there. No distort, but I do have the dodge. So I take the dodge about here. You can only cover 1 of the 3 seconds of a stomp with the dodge, right? So I'm not running Blinding Dissipation. So if I was, I could use one of these F skills and it would blind him and I'd be fine because he's not even autoing. A good player would be autoing, so Blinding Dissipation. Don't let that deceive you into thinking it's the greatest thing in the world. What you can do is dodge some of the autos so he can't cleanse the blind. So it's kind of nice. Anyway, I take the middle second of the 3 seconds. But it's to my punish there because he does actually manage to get the skill too. So then we just cleave over the body. This guy hits me once with the Shroud 5. Really kind of nasty. I don't need the mantra for just a bit of vulnerability. So here's a Lich form. We walk back into this. for his split surge plus evade frames. And we can just sort of grind this guy down. So, obviously it was a race because of this body. So, there's a dead guy here. You guys might not see, but there's actually a dead guy here that we can... Well, let me rewind. I guess I'll let us all enjoy how beautiful this is. So, we mirror blade. And watch this mirror blade here. Right as the lich starts. The blade hits the lich. Bounces over here. And crits the thief, who just scored a kill. So, we just killed the thief here with the mirror blade. Now we're focusing on the Lich and chaining our evades and stuff. Lich needs to hit way harder, ArenaNet, for it to be worthwhile. I miss the old days of Lich, but there's 2 bodies. Now, the Thief applies poison with his autos, which is terrible. And this guy's going to hit really hard with his autos as well. Remember, it's not the Scourge, it's the Reaper, so his autos are going to be really, really hard hitting. So, my only choice is to res this to stop them both rallying. But I don't know whether I even can, to be honest. But I get there instantly. You see, that's the first thing I do. Now, what's really nice and reduces the Thief's damage is he does bouncing cleave, right? So usually for a Thief in a situation like this, his dagger bounces from me, sorry, from the body to the Reza and back to the body. So he gets double value out of that. And he can double... Now, there's no... I could cleanse to get rid of the poison here on the body, but the Thief would reapply it straight away. But usually he gets double packets. But because I'm a Mirage and I've summoned stuff, instead, if you look, it's bounced here to me, and now it's bouncing away as well. So that tiny little bit of a save, which I was not thinking about in the moment, but is quite plain to see here, may have been just what did it. So we hold until the res, and that's huge for where we are on the game at the moment. I mean, absolutely enormous. 2 kills... worth of snowball for us. Two rallies. That's unbelievable. It gives me the freedom to come do this instead of just kiting away for ages. So it's the DH we're looking at. Obviously, while aiming the DH, we can just accidentally hit the warrior at the same time. The thief gets on me, so I pull up because I'm 1v4 right now. With the Reaper coming in as well. Even during the 1v4, I try and take the cheesy knockdown on the Dragon Hunter. We do score the kill on the Thief again. Let's rewatch that. I don't even know how I did that there. It was a completely accidental here. This is just the face roll of the build. So he's getting hit hard on split surge. We have to go even further back. So hold on. Thief jumps in here. Okay, he's 100%. All he's done is steal to me. I split surge. He's still at 100%. He walks to an already dead ally. I'm not executing anything major here. He stealths over here. And he's been hit by my clone. Oh, here you go. So then we mind rack him as well. How do we kill him? How do we kill the thief? Did we reflect something? We must have reflected something there. Oh, I wish I had the combat log up. Guys, tell me in the comments. Here you go. The question for the day. What do we reflect? Do we reflect this guy's focus and it bounces backwards and forwards like this? Does he use a focus 4? Is that what I just looked at there? 3,000. 7,006. No, actually, I'll tell you what. It's because we've been split surging and got a reasonable amount of might here. We're at 20 might. And that is pure mind rack. 7,600... sorry, and 6,445. That's all mind rack because we had a bit of might. Mind rack gets the kill. That's hilarious. And I pull away. I mean, I actually don't know what's going on there. Then I notice the kill. Because like I said, you can't expect me to see that in the moment. I pull back through. This is really, really deep of me. This is not a good play you're seeing here. This is terrible. Do I die? I deserve to die here. This is really bad. I get on the box. We distort and reflect his sword 3. We can't go on the node because he'll have traps on the node, so we have to come to the side. We take the heal. He was forced to detarget. Okay, yeah, then he tethers and pulls me. And I do die there. It was really silly. I shouldn't have gone back in. And also, I can't use the skill 2 because he's tethered me with F1, which reveals me. So even when I use skill 2 there, he can stomp me out instantly. Nice little thing, obviously, to remember at 4 those very few DHs still out there. But nonetheless, we still win the game with top kills and damage there on another pretty fun queue at 4. So this is what I wanted to show off. Through this queue, we did 40% of our team's damage. We also, for what it's worth, did 48.9% of all the damage compared to the enemy team. I think that's what this means, right? So like nearly nearly half of all the damage in the game was coming from our greatsword. Kind of hilarious. And there you go, guys. So that's game of the day. And a really weird kill on a thief. Thanks. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you for another one very soon.